एवरीवन, यूट्यूब लाइव सेशन में हमारा आज का टॉपिक है रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स रिड्यूसिंग पार्टिसिपेशन इन स्टॉक मार्केट्स। अब ऐसा एक साल में क्या बदल गया जो ये नौबत आ गई, थोड़ा समझते हैं। द मंथ ऑफ May 2023 marked the third consecutive month of outflows by retail। इसका मतलब है रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स ने कुल मिलाकर खरीदे गए शेयर्स की तुलना में ज़्यादा शेयर्स बेचे हैं और ये ट्रेंड पिछले 3 महीनों से चल रहा है। Retail investors have been sellers in the market, perhaps spurred by higher levels in the index and the sharp 11% bounce in the market since the lows of March 2023. In fact, the NSE Pulse has pointed out that the combined selling of retail investors in the last 3 months was rupees 19,600 crore. The impact has been more in the cash market and very insignificant in the FNO market, underlining that the shift has happened from the pure retail investors and not from the seasoned traders in the stock market. The big retail rush can be identified to the post-COVID scenario. लगभग 3 महीने की शांति के बाद सडनली रिटेल इन्वेस्टर्स को वैल्यूएशंस और प्राइसिंग बहुत कंपेलिंग लगने लगी। The simplified account opening norms and the proliferation of discount brokers meant that the cost of participation in the stock markets was vastly reduced. और इससे ट्रेडिंग अकाउंट्स के नंबर, डीमैट अकाउंट्स के नंबर्स और यहाँ तक कि म्यूचुअल फंड SIPs के नंबर्स में एक्सपेंशन होने लगा। However, most of the millennials who entered the market during this phase realized that low cost is just one part of the story. For investors to make money, they also need solid advice and diligent advisory services. In the absence of that, most investors found themselves disoriented and exited. Do the numbers show slowdown in retail flows? Well, actually, the numbers are quite emphatic about the slowdown in retail flows in the last couple of years. FY21 में net retail investments into Indian equities stood at rupees 70,000 crore. FY22 में rupees 1,60,000 crore और FY23 में गिरकर rupees 50,000 crore हो गया. However, in FY24, the first 2 months have seen net outflows of rupees 15,000 crore. Clearly, retail flows peaked in FY22 and since then it has been consistently on its way down. Clearly, there was a lot of opportunistic retail money that came into the markets post FY21 and that is gradually winding down as the markets are staying range bound for a prolonged period. Also, much of the liquidity driven rally is gradually unwinding as higher inflation has been taking a toll on the investable surplus of retail investors. The post-pandemic period represented a tremendous sweet spot for the retail investors to participate in the equities. Interest rates were at low levels, debt was unattractive and equity prices had crashed during the pandemic. The recipe was perfect for a sharp bounce in equities, which is what we got to see. हालांकि मई 2022 में RBI ने एग्रेसिवली रेट बढ़ाना शुरू कर दिया। मई 2022 और फेब 2023 के बीच में RBI ने 250 बेसिस पॉइंट्स की बढ़ोतरी की, making the FD interest a lot more attractive. This led to a lot of opportunistic equity money to jump back into debt. That was a major factor for such limited participation in equities by retail investors in the recent past. Why risk money in equities when debt returns are so attractive? Now look at it as a larger allocation story. It is natural to start drawing interpretations from these numbers. This is a natural process of asset allocation retail investors do when the fundamentals change. While retail participation may have reduced sharply in the equity markets, retail investors continue to be serious investors in mutual funds as reflected in the consistent growth in SIP folios, SIP AUM and monthly SIP collections. One thing that emerges is that investors should not jump into equities with a very short-term perspective. As they say, in the short term, the stock market may be a slotting machine, but in the long run, it is always a weighing machine. वेल, आज के इस लाइव वीडियो सेशन को लाइक एंड शेयर जरूर करें एंड स्टे अपडेटेड विद blinkX फॉर मोर सच मार्केट रिलेटेड इन्फॉर्मेशंस।